you cannot be successful if you are not persuasive. There's no shame in it. I personally believe that it's one of the. There were times when I used to feel lonely. Let's say if it doesn't work, but one thing I had, there was faith. See, once you have established, it's a different story. You are in a position to say no. But and this deal actually came when we needed the money.
In the beginning,
when we needed the money,
what a test
we needed
plan.
the project. It was a test, but alhamdulillah, I have no regrets. I have to really put my head into learning, and make sure that my team is capable as well.
How did you get this, entrepreneurship mindset? I think this is something I also lately realized, that if you are with the mindset of work, job, it's different when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Of course. See,
where did you change?
It's never the point that when did you change. I think once you start removing those barriers, and it's very easy. It's literally, it's just a mindset, and it's not one time thing that you think about it once and then after 6 months you think about it again. It's a daily thing. If your focus and your attention is on what you want to achieve, you will achieve it. What you see on Instagram, what you see on Facebook, what your friends are wearing, what they are doing, the kind of experiences they are having, all of that is marketing. They are selling you all of that. So if some poor guy who has a job to sell you a product, it's not that he's the one just selling you. All of those people in your circle,
yes,
your friends on Instagram or celebrities you are following, all of
showing
them,
off iPhones.
They are selling you.
Yes. When you start talking about your business or the services, you do your marketing, public relationships in the same way to all the clients and customers or different audience at all times, because that is called being honest for mutual benefit. If you are not being honest, you are pushing propaganda. As a result, some people will love you and some will hate you. And that is just the way it is. Best example is Baiju's decision to take down Shah Rukh Khan and signing up with the politician's son overnight is a blunder. Biggest propaganda last month. Super hard to digest, and how media ignored killings of the farmers and 3,000 kg drugs trafficking. So marketing can be destructive. Whether Hitler or Modi, they used brilliant marketing, branding, or dark side of the marketing, or many out there use branding in evil ways. But just because it can be used destructively doesn't mean we can or should avoid it altogether. We should look for alternative, a branding which will adopt values and principles in life by focusing on others and self. Branding and CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, are interrelated. The individual is forced to confront their own destructive beliefs and then change them through behavior, not thought. When you act as if your inner world is changed, your belief system changes too. Branding people are extremely creative. They think in a vivid color. They have a package of oil paintings and they paint a picture in the customer's head. That's how I know Aamir Shehzad, brilliant brother in my circle of influencers. Passionate about brand and digital communication, architecture and futurism. Experienced founder with a demonstrated history of working in the digital communication industry. Skilled in entrepreneurship, creative visualization, interactive creative direction, marketing and brand strategy, user experience, mobile and new technologies. So make sure to watch till the end for wonderful gems and life-changing lessons. And don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons and spread the word. So today's discussion is gonna be completely on core things of business or any product which you want to work on, because it might be any business where one of the things which we miss is the main fundamental things, the core things, which requires patience, which requires all the principles of life. So we have brother Aamir Shehzad, and thank you so much, Aamir Shehzad, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I have already seen or read about you a lot, and we know each other for a long time. But when it comes to work, it's very hardly we talk about those things, right?
True. I think our first exposure was maybe back in 5-6 years back.
Yes, because of the events mostly.
Exactly.
So alhamdulillah, I have been getting connected to so many good people, and you are one of them. And I'm grateful to you and for the connection which you have had with me. And let's see if today's discussion will help me with your background and also for audience to learn a lot when it comes to branding, when it comes to design thinking. There are so many people talk about it, but let's see the experience you have gone through. So, brother, let me ask you about the entrepreneurship which you entered into, and especially the field of design thinking. How did you end up on that?
I see. I think my life story is very interesting, and not many people know this. I think I just told you today that I'm a school dropout. So I started design and animations as a hobby.
Yeah.
Then I, started working with a design agency back in 2005, and I think I was lucky enough to work with some of the best designers. With some of the best mentors probably.
Yeah.
Back then. Because especially if you have no clue, where your life is,
Yes.
What you want to do, where you want to go. So if you are hooked with something which does not feel like work, and I think that's very important because
Yes.
From my childhood, I was always, into creative stuff, but I never knew what exactly I wanted to do. So that provided me a platform. I learned from there, and I really felt that this is for me. Coming to how I moved into entrepreneurship, I think after working 5-6 years, I reached to a point in my life where I felt that life was becoming a bit boring. I needed some challenge, and also back then. I had a picture in my mind that, for me, life was... So I had a corner office. I was getting good money as well. I was heading a department. But life was like, I'm looking at a painting from one, perspective, from one side. So I wanted to get up from here, go on the other side and see that how it looks. Now, of course, it's scary. It's not easy. It's challenging. But alhamdulillah, back then I believe that my spiritual level was really high. So that gave me the boost, that gave me the motivation, that I was not even worried about, if it will not work. And, and I'm talking about 10 years, 11 years back, I was not much into saving, I had no plans that, let's say if it doesn't work. But one thing I had, that was faith.
Yes.
That I really believed that, I was ready that, if my life from here, it goes better, alhamdulillah. I really had that strong belief and faith in me that, that Allah will take care of me. Literally. Like that, that is something which I had. I had no connections. I had no money. But, He helps you to really throw yourself to Him. And that's what happened to me. Literally, I resigned. Of course, I started another company. And through some connections, we got a really good, big job. It was like back then, we got a job of one of the leading telecom company to do some 3D animations for them. And, if you just left your job and, you have a project like this, which really helped me. So I think that was the first thing which gave me the idea that I think I can do this. And the interesting part is that I had no idea how to do 3D. Okay, it was a 3D project.
Okay.
So I hired a company in Pakistan. I got them the job. We did a good job actually. We made some money out of it. So it was a good experience, but I think that experience was very important to give me a booster as well.
Mindset.
Exactly. To give me a booster that, okay, now I'm not going back to job. And I think that was it, that I never looked back.
So why did you choose design thinking, creative marketing areas?
So this is what I'm saying. I did not choose it.
Okay.
It chose me. From my childhood, I was into creative stuff, but I never knew what I wanted to do. But what happened is that I started designing or animating as a hobby. I did some university projects, and then I was introduced to this agency through a friend And till today, I'm honored, the creative director there. And he became a very, very close friend of mine. We are still in touch. So he saw my work, and he said that, okay, I'll give you a chance and see. So that was the moment for me when I decided that this is something I want to do, because I had never had an experience of an agency. I never worked in an agency before. I was struggling, let's put it this way. I did odd jobs. But that was the time. So it's not that, I knew from the start that I want to become a designer. I was connected to creativity, but I never knew what I wanted to do. But there was the moment when, I got that particular job, when I realized that, okay, this is something, which I should be doing. And interestingly enough, like my focus was always into animation. So I was into digital design. The agency back then, the focus was into traditional media and traditional design. Now, I was the only person who was doing interactive stuff. And there were times when I used to feel lonely because everyone else, lonely in a sense that everyone else was engaged in larger projects, they were busy and
achieving big things.
And, like I was not part of what they were doing.
Yes.
And, I actually went to my director back then and I told him that, I want to do what you guys are doing. And I think the best advice, one could have given me, he told me that what you have is different and it's, that makes you unique. So stick with it. And I think that was the best thing, because from that, what I picked and the kind of stuff, I've been doing throughout my life, it's modern, it's more futuristic, it's more interactive. And that is one of the core reason behind, why our agency have stood out. There are many agencies out there.
Yeah.
But the kind of work which we do, it actually has those experiences which I went through, and the kind of work which we created. It gave me a direction. We created our own style, and there are not many companies which are doing that kind of work. So that really helped us, to build our brand, position ourselves in a way that our work is different and unique. And I think that is one of the most important aspects. If you want to run a business, if you want to create anything, you need to find out what is the true you, like, what you enjoy.
Yes.
And that worked for us.
Amazing. This is where in Righteous Rich, where actually the passion, the love for work which you have is really connected with God, and the love for your work. It's all like a holistic thing which we want to show it here and distinguish things in the channel. You said director, but I'm damn sure that you must be having some mentors. Who has
so my director, actually, he is my mentor. So my director, Gagan Deep Singh, he's a very close friend. He is my true mentor.
Wow.
And of course, I learned a lot from Wahid, the owner of the agency. We built a very close relation, and of course, he has his own unique style. So that is something which really helped us, because there are so many designers, there are so many agencies, and most of the work looks similar. So you go to a specific website or any website. Most of the websites will look similar. What we've tried to do is that and not now. The first digital annual report I did probably was back in 2006, and I received an award for that. And we've received several international awards after that. So if you really put your passion and your heart into each project, so once you do that, you will become your own best critic. With that, you will know that, okay, this is what you've done, but next time you want to do better, and you want to do better, and you want to do better. I think if you have that mentality, and if you're, it's not that not being satisfied, but keep raising the bar for yourself. If you keep improving on quality, if you keep learning new things, especially for me, the industry I am in, it's very competitive. We compete against some of the largest international agencies. Agencies which are there, half century, and
Yes.
they have people, more than 2,000 or 5,000 people.
Families
So
and-
if I have to be in this domain, which means that I have to really put my head into learning, and make sure that my team is capable as well. So I'm never bothered about the competition. Like, I never thought that, what competition is doing. I don't think that's the right mindset.
Right.
If you keep on improving, what you do, if you keep on improving your quality, you're ethically, you're what you're doing, you're right. And if you believe in adding value, no matter whatever you do, but if you have a client or a customer, if you have their best interest in your mind, they will be, that would be your best marketing. That would be your best, way you can grow your business and, work with other clients. Especially when you're a startup, you need people to talk about you.
Yes.
The only reason they will talk about you, if you really make them feel that you're not just there to make that sale, you're not just there to sell your product, but you actually have their best interest in mind. Once you do that, you will not only win their trust, but they will actually become your ambassador.
For sure, you might have come across significant challenges, which is competition is another thing. But there might be deals, big business deals, which you might have dropped down because of some values and principles.
We did. So I'll tell you something. There was a project. I'm glad that you brought this up, because it has happened more than once. So there was a project from BMMI. I think it's a company that sells alcohol. They wanted us to work on a project to sell it online, basically. To create a platform for them to sell it online. Now, for me, I mean, I wouldn't engage myself. No, there are other people, of course, who would do it, but for me, it was a big no-no. Like, I've been clear from the start that I would not engage in anything, which would probably, put me in a position, in front of my creator, so no. I had to let go. It was a good deal, and especially, you see, once you have established, it's a different story. You are in a position to say no. But and this deal actually came when we needed the money.
In the beginning.
When we needed the money,
What a test,
we needed
man.
the project. It was a test, but alhamdulillah, I have no regrets.
passed it.
I think, it was the best decision. And and that's probably one of the reasons I believe that if you stay humble, you believe in God, and you at least have a clear idea the kind of projects or the kind of work you want to do, you will get it. You'll be surprised. I always wanted to work with banks, and with some large clients. Alhamdulillah, we are working with some of the largest clients in the region. How? I don't know. If you ask me, how can I put it logically? All what I focused on was keep improving our work, which we do, and, provide better customer service, because that's very important. You make a deal, there everything is, very green and, it's happy.
Yeah.
But once you come to delivery, if you do not satisfy people there, you would probably not build long relationships. So one thing which I believe, and I'm very happy about it, that we've established a culture in our organization that with most of our clients, we work long term. Like, we've been working with Itmar Bank since 2012.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, we have a relationship of almost 9 years. With most of our clients, like, we have long relationships. We are never focused on that, we'll do this one project for you, and then, we'll probably, just make the money out of this and say bye-bye. We really focused on, even if we have to put extra effort, things which are probably not part of the projects, I don't mind going extra mile for those clients, because I know that, in long term, it will probably give me much more benefit. And it has in many ways.
We'll go into one of the problems which we always face. I'm sure you have an idea how persuasion works. And what is your perspective on ethics of persuasion?
Especially if you are, an entrepreneur, you cannot be successful if you are not persuasive. There's no shame in it. There's
Yes.
this is the most important aspect,
Yes.
that you need to keep trying. You need to keep trying. Yes. It's not gonna be easy. Like, so if I say that we are doing great right now, that does not mean that it was always the case. Yes. We had difficult times. We kept trying, just to sign a single deal. But Alhamdulillah, now we've reached to a point that we have a lot of things in pipeline. But it happened because you will have times when you will have doubts that you should give up. Yeah. You will have times, especially if you're running a business and you have employees that you need to pay salaries. There will be times that you're worried that how would you pay the salaries. There are times when you have to pay your staff, but you don't have money for yourself. Yeah. And I've been through all of that. And you will get ideas that maybe you should go back and start the job. So again, for me personally, I feel that it was out of the question to leave this. I was always focused on finding the solutions. I was not bothered that, this challenge, shall I take a step back? No, I was always focused on how we can make things better and how we can, come out of this situation. And so I would say, like, even being persuasive, like, there are certain clients I wanted to work with. I still, call them. And some of them, like, I tried for 5 years, and we signed deal with them. Some of them we are still trying. I want to work with those clients. So because
perseverance,
it has to be. It has to be. I mean, if you probably have a dream list of your clients, or dream client list, and most of them, we might have checked out, but there are some which are still there, and we're trying, and hopefully, we'll get to work with them.
So you're going with all the values and principles, not giving up on that.
Why would you give up?
Yes.
Why would you give up? I think one more thing is important, that you want to make sure that you get the deal based on what you deliver. There are other ways. A lot of businesses, you sign the deals under the table. And Alhamdulillah, I'm proud to say, not a single client, in my entire career, I've signed where I had to pay money to someone to do business with them. So I'm very happy to say this. And while we are talking, so this came in my mind. And maybe Alhamdulillah, Allah has never put me in that situation to test me.
Okay.
And I'm glad that I've never been in that situation.
Oh, okay. So when you're switching from job to the business or the entrepreneurship, this mindset, it's not easy to leave that behaviors, leave all those habits. So those habits will definitely make you come down, lose your motivation. How did you get this entrepreneurship mindset? I think this is something I also lately realized, that if you are with the mindset of work, job, it's different when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Of course. See,
where did you change?
Okay, it's never the point that when did you change. I think what I feel, it's a process. And there are so many things which are coming back to me while you're talking now. So for me, the process started before even I resigned. So when I was working, I wanted to be the best designer or best animator. Now, what I had done, and I wish that I can do that again, because back then, when you're living alone and you have time on your side, so I had created a discipline for me that like I wake up, let's say for Fajr. After that, I would probably go to gym. I would read some books, go to office. After office, I had 2 hours where I used to spend time learning new softwares. Like, I think back then I was learning Cinema 4D and, so that's like, I had that, I think, for 2-3 years. If you can create a discipline in your life, this will keep your mindset healthy. This will keep your mindset to grow, focused on growth as well. Being content is a different. It's a different thing. But if you feel that you have more to give, or let's say your potential is much more, and that's what I felt, and I realized after that first job which we did, after I resigned, that probably there's a lot more potential, and each time you will do a new project, your affirmation or your confidence will grow with that, and you would realize that you probably need to start thinking big.
Yes.
And I don't feel shame in that for a few years, we reached to a point that we were doing business, and we had certain clients, and we were actually making almost the same amount of money every year. Now, this took me a while to realize, because down the line, what happened, so when you're starting, you have the fire, you have the energy, you have the momentum.
Yes.
But then once you start getting business, you become comfortable. You get in your comfort zone. And I think that's when, probably in 2016 or 17 probably, that I started thinking that I think I need to go more, I need to do more. And I really started, reading a lot more books. I started, going back to discipline. It changed my thinking as well. And I've learned something which I recently probably discovered, which again, probably it's a different subject, on manifestation, that how you can actually, manifest anything you want. It's the limitations are not out there. It's here, actually. Once you start removing those barriers, and it's very easy. It's literally, it's just a mindset, and it's not one-time thing that you think about it once and then after 6 months you think about it again. It's a daily thing. If your focus and your attention is on what you want to achieve, you will achieve it. Irrespective of if you have the money, irrespective of if you have the skill, you keep focus on that. And keep questioning that how it can happen. You will be put in situations. You will have surroundings, or you will probably be introduced to people that will help you. And Allah creates the ways for you. Literally, we were operating in Bahrain. It's a very small market. Alhamdulillah, we started here, but the moment we started thinking big, we moved into Saudi market, and right now we are working with probably 95% of clients are in Saudi. It's a much larger market.
Yes.
Now, but the question was never that there's a border in between, but the border was here, actually, in the thinking. When we started removing, when I removed that, I realized that now other boundaries are coming down as well. And Alhamdulillah, I feel lucky.
It's a process which you've gone through.
Exactly.
And still you feel like, okay, you can do a lot.
I feel that. I honestly, I feel I'm just getting started. Literally, if I tell you, I feel I'm just getting started.
The law of attraction works, but you have to put some little efforts.
I don't know what to call it law of attraction, but I've learned this thing, that if you really, so our focus is everything, it's exactly wherever you put your attention, you will get that thing. You put your attention on, social media, you put your attention on, eating, or you put wherever you put your attention, you have to create a discipline for that attention.
Yes.
You need to make sure that it's a continuous thing. You put the attention within 30 days. I experience it. You will start seeing things differently. Like there are times where I've tested things which drive me crazy. When I think like really big things.
Okay.
But even in terms of money, you really put that this is how much you want to make. And you keep thinking about it. Now, I'm not saying that you should think about money, but money is not a bad in itself.
it's a tool.
I believe that the more you have, you're in a position that, you can probably help others.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, if you are not someone who just want to hold it for yourself,
Yes.
Allah will open doors for you, which you don't even imagine.
So creative marketing it's still, I feel like it's not really thought or.
I believe you're talking about the brand building.
Yes.
If I understand.
You call it brand building and
Sure.
working on the fundamentals and values and.
Sure.
So I was thinking, like, if people when are getting misleading, what do you call misleading responsibilities when it comes to corporate world, even when they are signing contracts, it's not clear. People are not given clear information. The behavior methods or the dark side of the psychology is used to take advantage of the consumers. So these things are happening on the marketing part, actually. But if you see, I feel like creative marketing or brand building or all those things can really replace these problems. What do you think?
So, something very interesting. Today I was listening to Seth Godin. He's the guru of, marketing. And there's something which he mentioned, which I really like, that if you guys think that you are the customer on social media where they're selling you the products, then you are probably living in a la-la land. You are the product.
Yes.
You are not the customer. You are the product on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, which is being sold to others, because you are not paying any money to use, those platforms. So you are the product, for which they make the money. And it's very interesting, the way he has put it. See, marketing in itself is not bad.
Yeah.
But let's say if I'm receiving 10 emails, okay, 2 of them I have decided to receive. So I have subscribed, for those products or, for those brands. That's great, because I want to receive more information from them. I want to learn about their products. I want to learn about that brand itself. So if you're getting the information which you have decided to receive, that's great. And that is the right kind of marketing. But if you're being bombarded by scams and spams in your email, now that is something where you have to use your own emotional intelligence, to see where you really need to focus on. Now, I do understand when you're on Facebook, you cannot choose that you will see this ad or you will not see this ad. You will be thrown that to you. And I believe that's why the regulators, they're working on it to make sure that the information, which is coming to you, it's something which you actually
relevant.
It's relevant to you. Now, marketing can be very useful as well if it's to the right audience at a right time, while that person is in a certain emotional state. So let's say if I want to buy a car,
right?
Okay, and I've been doing some research on a specific car, probably Audi, and if the system can help me, if I'm getting those ads, those promotions which are relevant to what I'm looking for, that's amazing, because that will really help my experience and my journey in making a decision. It's going to influence me, but it's also going to give me more information. So that is a good side of marketing, which is something you're looking for. So if you are in that emotional state, so that's why it's important that, the target audience which you're targeting, if you understand their geographic, aspect and their emotional state as well, their emotional needs as well, then it's good. But if you keep bombarding,
which is not relevant sometimes.
Exactly. And I believe that's why, the brands who tell a better story, the brands who build a better relation with you, you actually would want to hear from them. Now, if I give you an example, so you're getting plenty of ads, there's too much noise, on social media. Now, how can you make sure that your brand is different? Now, it's not, with one click, or it's not with one particular step you take. It's actually a process of building a proper brand. Okay, and it's, before even it goes outside, it starts internally within the organization. The kind of culture you have, the product which you have or the services which you have, are they there to solve problems? Okay, once you have built a brand which is relevant to a specific audience. Now, you see, Harley Davidson, they make bikes, but it's not relevant for everyone.
Yes.
Okay. But for those people, who really are into biking, and, who are into, who looks at, this as a club, for them, it's a group, and, it's that state of mind, they have an emotional attachment to it. If they will get to see an ad from Harley Davidson, they wouldn't mind it, because they associate with them emotionally.
Yes. They have their own culture. Yeah.
Exactly. So if the brand which you're building, if it tells a story which connects with a specific audience. Now, that audience could be 10 people. That audience could be, 1,000 people. But if you really hit the chord with them, you will do much better in long term. See, the mistake which people make when they focus, or let's say they target, random audience. They target everyone. That maybe some people will buy, some people will not buy, but they are really not focusing on their target audience. I think that is the key to success. That whatever you are doing, you identify what are your strengths, what you are offering, how you are adding value. Now, all of this is for who? What are their challenges? What are their problems? Now, it cannot be for everyone. So once you identify that and you communicate with that specific audience, I think that's how it's good for your business, but it's also relevant. And if you are able to solve the problems for some organizations or individuals, they would welcome marketing from your side. They would welcome, any messaging from your side, because you are there to help them.
They will be waiting for you.
Exactly.
It's good that you came up with the emotions part of it. So most of the source of the marketing or creative marketing, any kind of marketing, comes with, either from the family background or inspiration from, which is something related to their emotions, or to have partner, to have something they want. Right? These are the emotions people have. So good culture also. So sometimes I feel like it's kind of the way people are using also this marketing, whether it's creative, whether it's any kind of marketing, they also make use of the fear of people. It's strongest emotions.
True.
Being having a background of pharmacy or pharmaceutical, the fear-based business which is happening from the pharmaceutical industry, you might know that it's a big circle, it's a big lobby out there. If you know any pharmaceutical industry.
True.
They don't even need sometimes the marketing. It works for them the way they have built.
True.
So how are you making having the experience in this field, like how scarcity is used here?
The things which we buy, do we buy them because we need them, or we buy them because of certain other aspects? So I'll give you an example. If I drive a specific car, do I drive that car because it's just going to take me from place A to B, or I drive it because there are some hidden aspects, the way it makes me feel. Maybe I like comfort, or maybe I like to associate myself. So in youngsters, why do you think they buy iPhone or AirPods? Why? Is it because the other phones are bad? Yes, iPhone has a great experience. Being a designer, I love Apple, but I think it's good that you touched fear has many aspects. Now, maybe they buy with a fear that they might be left, left out, So yes, it works. But at the same time, you see, fear is one aspect. And yes, it's used, it's used everywhere, it's used on so many different level as well. And yes, it's used in marketing as well. But as I mentioned, that most of the time, the things which we buy, the decisions which we make, they are influenced. They are influenced by what? My culture, my surroundings, my friends, where I spend my time, what I see probably on my devices.
Yes.
So it's not that you make the decision the moment you see the product. It's basically, in your subconscious, that information being there. And it's, when you see something which connects with what you already have in your subconscious, and then you of course give the logical reasons why you should buy this product, to satisfy or maybe, reassure yourself that the decision you're making is logical, or it's not a bad decision. But most of the time, the decisions which we make, especially when it comes to, buying, I believe it has a lot more to do than just, the price factor. Or see, people are willing to pay a lot more if they build a connection with a brand. Literally, I mean, and that's what people do for Apple, right?
Yes.
It's expensive, but they still buy it because they associate themselves in a certain group,
Yes.
A creative group or whatever group. They associate themselves in that group. That's why they make those purchases.
It's enticing people to buy, which is for a good reason, and there is other reason also. So whatever the sales pitch they throw on, one of the things which we see is it's a fear-based approach sometimes. So now question comes is Ani, does it justify that the way it is marketed for people to buy is evil, and if this evil is slowly creating poison in their subconscious mind, which is we have to think about as a design thinkers like you and who is like established, and I also really come from the background of fine arts. So I feel like we who are in this field should think about something which helps those areas to overcome.
No matter whatever your business is, and no matter whatever you're selling, if you can identify, or let's say, if you can focus on how you can add value to someone. So let's say if I'm selling you something, instead of focusing on making you scared that if you don't buy this particular thing, you might miss out. If we can really focus on the values this service or this product could add in your life, I think if you go with that approach, it works much better. And in that case, it's also that you have that I have your best interest in mind, and I understand your emotional state. I understand what your thought process might be, that maybe this particular product or service you actually need in your life. So I think if you focus on adding value instead of scaring people, now it works. I'm not saying that it does not work. It really works. And I wouldn't say that it's just the fault of marketing. You see, I'll go back to the same point. Marketing is just one aspect.
Yes.
What you see on Instagram, what you see on Facebook, what your friends are wearing, what they are doing, the kind of experiences they are having, all of that is marketing. They are selling you all of that. So if some poor guy who has a job to sell you a product, it's not that he's the one just selling you. All of those people in your circle,
yes,
your friends on Instagram or celebrities you are following, all of
showing
them,
off iPhones.
They are selling you.
Yes.
They
and free of cost.
Exactly. So you see all of that information which you're absorbing. Do you think that it's for nothing? No. All of that information which you're getting is the reason the decision which you might make, because it's there, it's on your subconscious, and you're getting influenced. So you cannot, think that you spend certain time, every day, let's say on Instagram or Facebook, and you swipe the pictures and you see things. You don't. Do you think that they're not going to influence your life? Of course, they're going to influence your thought process. They're going to influence your life, and you would either see what you're missing out or what you need to catch up with. So
nothing went wrong so far. It means, it looks like you're still positive.
I'm positive because see, it's the way I look at it. I look at things holistically. Will this? Yes, that's a great thing that there are regulations coming that at least your data privacy, is something that you know that it will not be used for something which you've not opted for. We talked today that how many of us we actually read the terms and conditions.
Yes.
I don't think many do. Okay, because if you disagree, then you cannot take
go for it.
You cannot download that application or service, whatever it is. So it's good. The regulators are taking step. Hopefully, it will be better. But again, I don't think that it can ever go to a point where you will feel that you are not being taken advantage of, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or other applications, or whoever is taking your data. But at the same time, this is what it is. Like, this is the times we are living in.
So, which is leading me to discuss about AI now. I think in Middle East, some of them already, they think that, okay, the way you explained it, it's all about AI, I think. And I don't know much about
AI is amazing. I mean, actually, AI is already in our life, and it's been there for some time. We, when we say artificial intelligence, it seems very fancy, and it's a hot word nowadays. Yes. But if you use Netflix, if you watch Netflix, the way they arrange your, they personalize your experience based on your previous history. Yes. They show you the content which you actually have been watching based on that. If you go to Amazon, your previous history based on that, they give you that. So, it's being used for personalization, which I believe it's amazing. Like, and we also focus on this, with our clients as well. The more you can personalize the experiences for people, because I might like something, you might like something else. So and that is the future actually, even for brand experiences. The future is to personalize the experiences. Like, you walk in a bank, the bank knows your history. Again, what I'm talking about, it might take certain years, but the bank knows your history, and the way they treat you, the way they accommodate you, or even the way they offer you services, But talking about, let's say, maybe you have a car loan from a specific company. They have your history, based on that. Maybe your car loan is finishing, they can, reach you that they might have certain new products to influence you to get a new car. So I think data is very useful if it's in the right hands. That's very important. But of course, there are a lot of other uses of AI. It's going to help.
Do you think it's too early?
It's not too early. Actually, probably we in this region, we feel it's too early. There are a lot of stuff which is being done on this. There are a lot of different theories as well. Like if you hear Elon Musk, he has his own view. He thinks
wants
that
regulation to come. And
he thinks that there might be a time when you might not be able to control the monster which you're building in his language. But I think it can also help us a lot. Like, I'll give you one of the examples. So let's say, if we work with banks now, there's something called chatbots. Nowadays, the chatbots are being built, and there's a lot to do in machine learning. So they learn based on their experiences with the people. Right. So in that case, let's say, imagine you are a bank and you had customer service, or you had call centers. Now you will replace those with chatbots. So you have bots, and I think Ela Bank, they've really done a good job on this. So there are bots. They will actually, based on what the questions you ask, they will reply you. They will give you multiple options. You select. You interact with them. But not only that, they learn on that experience. They keep on improving. They keep on improving. So I think AI is gonna be there. It's part of our life, and I think it will add a lot more value.
The sales marketing funnels, which usually have the model of like from attraction, from creating interest and desire, and getting them to act on that. Because of current situation, the way things are going, the behavior has changed a bit. Even in our fields, we feel it. Like people have stepped back or backed out on purchasing unnecessary things. They now identify that what is their need, and then only they will go for it. They check the reviews, they check everything before purchasing anything. So do you think this gonna change the way the marketing is working out now? Or
of course. See, and I think this is good, because if you as a customer, if you're doing your research, and that is the trend, that people nowadays, they don't purchase things unless they have actually verified on different places, and which is good, because it helps you at least get some kind of information about the product, the experiences of other people as well. So in that case, the decision which you might make, you know that it's not that risky, especially if you're
calculating the risk,
so you're calculating the risk. However, as I mentioned, but if your brand is from one of those brands, which connects with you on an emotional level, this whole experience will be a lot faster.
Yes.
Or let's say if I look at from another perspective, I mean, and if you see in real life, if your brother or your friend has a certain product, you will trust that product much more than any review you read online.
Yes.
Because the trust level which you have, between your friends or family, or your circle. So if let's say within our circle, if someone is driving Tesla, so we experience firsthand, we will be much more inclined. So this is what I like, and it goes to the same way. When I was talking about that, what you see on Instagram, we get influenced. In a similar way, we get influenced through our community as well. What they use, or the kind of products they're using. We get influenced by all of that.
Now I understand why it takes back to your field of branding and experience.
It's important. It's important.
This is the core, which is
exactly
which is need
See,
to be
if you cannot build a trust level, with your customer or with your client, you might not be able to achieve that growth, which is possible. But how can you build that if your product or your service will really add value? So it's not easy. It's not that you can build that trust, with your customer if your product is not delivering. If your product is delivering, then only you can build that trust. And there are only few brands that has achieved that.
Future is going to be challenging, globally, and something different. Things are becoming like global level. Competition is becoming global level. Like one thing is it's global globalization, and another thing is like what percentage of the businesses are going to be virtual platform.
I think it's a very important question, and you talked about challenges. I would talk about opportunities, and we are already looking at actually going borderless. Like we are already thinking to set up an office in London. So we are already in thinking in that direction. In terms of percentage, how much work will be virtually done? We are testing it right now. Probably our 30 to 40% of team is in different locations. I have people working from Lebanon, from Turkey, from Pakistan, from UK, and of course we have our team here as well. And it's working very well. We are actually happy. The pandemic, this is a good thing which I discovered, because I was always having a challenge to find the right talent. Of course, like the talent which we have in Bahrain, it's great. But when you have access to global talent, so then you have more opportunity to pick and choose, and really have the best people in your team. I'm all for it. I'm testing it now, and it's working amazing for us. Like one of our designers is in Portugal. We have team in Lebanon, as I mentioned. So it's working great.
Communication will be a challenge, though.
Not really. Probably because we are already in an industry. So what we do is, of course, we have morning meetings, but everything is through emails. Everyone is on reach through WhatsApp, through Slack. So I used to think that it will be a challenge, but I think it's really working well for us.
It looks like God's plan is different.
True.
It's working for people who want to do something.
True. And see, I also believe, because with this, what has happened, that we are now actually looking at, working with clients who are in different parts of the world. We are not just looking at, our base in Bahrain and Saudi. So this, opportunity, which I would say that, going borderless, it's really amazing. But again, I'll go back to the same point. You can only win in this, irrelevant of the competition, but you can only win in this if what you deliver is the top quality. If your service or product is not the top quality, you will be left behind. So no matter what you do in life, if you're a freelancer, or anything you do, if you want to grow, I think the best thing is that you keep improving on your quality. You keep learning new things. You keep identifying, how you can improve. And I think if your mind is on that, you will attract, clients. You will attract people who really focus on the quality.
The borderless things are helping others get opportunities.
Of course.
It's opening up the doors for everyone around the world.
Of course. See, technology, in itself, it has great advantages. Now, we probably were a little bit hesitant. People, in this region were a bit hesitant, like in terms of, adopting the hybrid, let's say, work model. But I think it's great, and with traveling now, I can be here today, I can be next week in some other country. What difference does it make?
This was all in the mind.
Exactly.
Everything was in the mind. People had this barrier of not traveling,
and I feel rightly, you said it, that it was in the mind. So we really feel associated, and we see our walls around us actually much larger than they are.
Right.
If you start focusing on the other possibilities, that how you can take advantage of these times, there are a lot of potential. Like for us, probably these 2 years have been the best years of our business.
Now, when it comes to globalization, of course, I don't know if there is regulation for this, because you cannot regulate this at larger level. When it comes to around the world now, how what do you think, how regulation will play in this globalization part?
But see, there are already global regulations, but at the same time, then when you are in a specific country,
you have to follow those countries.
Of course, you will have to follow their regulations as well.
Yeah.
But certainly, there are global regulations as well, where countries they work with one another to make sure that those are followed.
Of course, when it comes to different areas, there are regulations, but I never thought like how it will work for filmmaking and design and creativity. It's opening up doors for everyone now.
Of course,
you can become a star.
I see everyone.
Can become a star.
Everyone is a photographer nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone is a filmmaker.
Yes.
But it's good. It's good.
Yes.
People they have the opportunity to tell the story, and whoever tells a better story, will have the audience.
Yeah. So do you see them as a competitors? Yeah. Encourage.
I see good work. I like it. It excites me. So I'm not, as I told you, I'm not afraid of competition. I'm not. Yes. I don't see this as I don't see this as a threat. It's a good thing that more people are coming out, because the more people who will express themselves, there will be more awareness as well. So it's it has its advantages.
Yes.
So that means you're creating a market which actually need that content which you are creating. So that means, and if your content is being viewed, which means there are people who are looking for that content as well. So again, it goes back to if you are specific in your subject, that's important. The content which you create, the stories which you tell, it cannot be for everyone. Those stories need to be focused on a specific audience, and that audience might share certain values with you. They might share certain beliefs with you.
Yes.
And then only you're going to be a perfect match.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could ask you a lot, and it's opening for me. Like, I'm so curious when it comes to someone like you who is sharing, and I'm grateful to you because you have always any added value. Again, with this today's session, it was like opening up for me the idea of being going out of the boundaries which I had. it's inspiring.
Yeah, I think our conversation went here and there.
It's inspiring to have such kind of ideas, like opening up positivity, because sometimes it's like we are always looking at the negative side of the social media, negative side of the psychology, the negative side of the marketing, but we don't see that there is positive side also. So one of the just to wrap up, and before I conclude and go into the rapid session, rapid fire questions, one of the things I wanted to know from you is your area of branding and marketing and creative areas where design thinking works. Share a little bit about it so that we really focus on those things when, as a businessman or as an entrepreneur or anybody who wants to get into, because storytelling is very important. I felt like it's the most important if anybody wants to get it.
Exactly.
So I think this is your area. What is your advice? What is your experience for people to work on that?
I think if you can identify your niche, that's very important. That you need to identify. You cannot be best in 10 things, and that's what we did. As I told you, we don't do social media, we don't do many other things which many of the agencies do. So if you can identify the areas which you're really good at and focus on those, like you don't have to have 20 products. If you have 3 products which are really good and you believe them, but you make them perfect, those 3 products really need to be good. So I think if you start with that, and then you tell a story, and identify that which is your minimal viable audience. Like, maybe it's, a parenting mother, maybe it's a teacher, So if you can really drill down, what could be their needs, what do they believe in, if you really focus on, again, that specific audience, make sure that the niche you are creating, you are the best, or at least, you are in that category where whatever you're giving, it's different than others. Now, of course, it could not be in all the cases. There might be products which are similar to the other products, but it always really helps that if you're building a product or if you're building a business, if you know the areas where you can add value, focus on those, build your story around it, build your brand story, be authentic. You don't have to talk a lot of marketing stuff, but be authentic with your brand and focus on how you're going to add value to the customer and give them that experience. Now, how will they get the experience? It's, when I talk about brand experience, is not just when they interact with your website. It's not just when they interact with your showroom or, with your branch, but the experiences even when they receive an email from you, when they communicate with you, when they speak to you on the phone, it's the holistic experience, which is a brand experience, the culture which you have within your organization. All of those things will build the foundation of your brand. And if that foundation is strong, if you're really true to what you believe in, and you are persuasive, you're persistent, you will achieve what you want to achieve, and I'm sure you will get success.
Describe yourself less than 3 words.
Dreamer, persuasive, that's the thing, that's why I kept talking about it, and hopeful.
How do you want yourself to be remembered?
I always ask this question to myself. I think, I would be happy that if I'm able to add value to someone else's life. So my journey or my experience or my presence, if it can make difference in others' life, or maybe when I'm gone, will someone see a difference that, that person is gone. So I believe in this, that, whatever I can do to make sure that I can add value to others' life, I try to do that.
How long does it take for you to trust somebody?
Okay, this is a very interesting question, and you will be surprised. My approach to humanity and people is that I believe that genuinely all the people are good. I will not trust, or let's say, if I put it in another way, that I will not doubt you or anyone else's intention unless I'm proven wrong. And I have no problem with it, that, my judgment is wrong. So usually I always expect good out of people. But at the same time, I'm smart enough to understand what needs to be shared and communicated, and, to what extent. But to me, whoever I connect and communicate with, I always expect that, they are good people and they are trustworthy. But even if they are not, and if I have any bad experiences, and I believe this is one of the key for me, I do not have any regrets in life. I do not hate people. There's not a single person that I hate or I want to, take revenge from. Even if he bothered me, I had losses.
Maybe that's a secret of your success, maybe.
So alhamdulillah, that's thing which Allah has given me, that I am positive in life, that it does not bother me what happened yesterday or last month or last year. It happened, it's gone. My focus is on the future.
When I say happiness, what comes to your mind?
Family.
Leader or a follower?
Of course, leader.
Last time you were emotional?
When I was with my son, probably yesterday.
West or the East? Because you're going global now.
I think both of them are good. I wouldn't pick one. There are certain values in East which I really, like, okay. But there are things which we can learn from West as well.
When it comes to politics?
Abraham Lincoln is someone that I've been reading, and I like his personality.
So, since you are talking about reading, how many books have you read recently or last year?
Probably I've read, I think, 6-7 books in last 6 months.
Which book has made a profound impact on you?
There are many books. I mean, I really like the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. It's really good. Richest Man in Babylon.
You read, huh?
Yes, I did, and of course, Think and Grow Rich. Which I'm sure everyone knows. I'm reading Robin Sharma nowadays. There's a book on mastery. I'm reading that.
When I say money,
Opportunities.
when are you more productive?
That's an interesting question. Usually in the mornings or late night.
What was your greatest failure?
I hope it's not crypto. I'm just kidding. There's a lot of money.
Okay, that was instant. Okay, what are you grateful for?
What
At
am
least
I
three.
grateful? My health, alhamdulillah. My family, for sure. And I'm grateful that, Allah has given me the opportunity to help others.
You said anyway you don't have any regrets. So, lastly, how was this interview?
It's amazing. No,
Okay.
I don't have regrets. No, it's amazing, actually.
I hope you didn't regret it.
It actually helped me on certain moments to go back and reflect.
Yeah.
So certain memories which I had forgotten,
Yes.
it,
Which helps.
they came in front of me. So it's good.
Thank you
It's
so
been
much.
amazing talking to you. Qazi.
Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
It was pleasure having you, and thank you for sharing such a beautiful information and message and your experience. Basically, that makes me get inspired and think about globally, especially my country. And we come from same East, although we have born here also. So we still have a lot to do for our people there. So there is a lot of opportunities, a lot of things going on, and I think you always I have to acknowledge that you have always made sure you are thinking cutting edge things and technology and 10 step ahead always, which is something people need to think about, being visionary. You are a visionary, and I see that you have good personality, good ideas, and good establishment, which you might be adding a lot of value in a bigger level, inshallah. And I see you as someone who is going to be a leader in a global level. So may Allah help you, and my wishes and my prayers are with you.
Thank you for
May
your
Allah
kind
help you.
words.
Jazakallah khairan. Thank you
you
so
very
much
much,
for being with me.
Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're sharing with all your friends and family. And as usual, this channel is completely going to be unique. This is all about values. It's all about principles. It's all about connecting with the God, connecting with the people, connecting in an environment. Thank you so much, and be in touch and keep watching.